Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dananu, and after a couple month hiatus, I'm back making commentary videos. In this video, we're going to be talking about a franchise that is near and dear to me, and that's going to be the Terminator franchise. The Terminator movies, along with Aliens, Predator, and RoboCop, are probably my most favorite sci-fi series. So when they announced Dark Fate, I wasn't sure if I was going to really like it or really thoroughly enjoy it. I thought the trailers were okay, but they didn't get me super excited about the movie or anything like that. A lot of people at the time were bashing the movie because of the whole feminist angle of the film, but I really didn't take it like that, and I didn't mind it so much. It doesn't really feel really forced in the movie, but you can definitely tell it's there. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say that, oh, I didn't think about that at all, but it just wasn't as ham-fisted as most movies are with that kind of sort of thing. My biggest gripe with the movie is the writing, the plot, and how and how they decided it was a good idea to just shit on the whole legacy of the Terminator series. The plot of the movie is the same as T2 and the rest of the movies, but on top of that, they kill John Connor and basically invalidate built up lore and story up until this point. They really do. They force new characters in the movie, hoping to bang out a couple sequels, but honestly, I really don't think it's gonna work because they don't make you care about the new characters at all. They don't make you like the characters. They don't fully flesh out, the new characters all that much. They just kind of just throw them in there and let that be that. They bring back Sarah Connor and Arnold, but I don't think even they, they can't save the movie. They can't save this basic bitch by the numbers averageness of this movie. Honestly, the story doesn't really go anywhere after the first few minutes. Nobody has a character arc at all. The new girl, Danny, the new John Connor of the movie, supposedly changes from being a girly girl to a battle-hardened person by the end of the movie, but it's not believable in the slightest, and they make zero effort in trying to make it believable. It's just they throw in a couple scenes in there and they just kind of leave it alone at that, and you're just supposed to accept that's the way things are. I think Arnold and Linda Hamilton are decent in their roles. Linda Hamilton was a sassy badass. It was pretty cool to see. I just wish that she was in a better Terminator movie. Honestly, I wish that they'd have brought her back in a movie that was worth having her, so to speak. I really missed her, from T2, and if you're gonna bring her back, and she wasn't in any of the other ones, so if you're gonna say, oh yeah, we're bringing back Linda Hamilton, we're bringing back John Connor, we're doing this, we're doing that, it's like I'm expecting like a new Terminator franchise, one that's gonna actually be something, and that wasn't the case. Hell, even the Terminator that we get in the movie, the Rev 9, really isn't all that impressive. They don't do anything really cool or interesting with him either. I think Gabriel Lunar, the actor who played Ghost Rider, I think he's a great actor, or for what he does. I haven't seen him in a whole lot, but I don't have any complaints about him either. They had a couple scenes in the movie where he was being charismatic and he was talking to to people like with a personality, and I thought that was great. Those were like a really great scene, because that was something you really don't get out of Terminator movies, to be honest. Excuse me. I know that in the past, Arnold is pretty much a walking machine for the most part, except when he learned at the end of T2, the T-1000 from Robert Patrick, even more so. He was just like a well-oiled machine, just on the hunt for his target like a missile, But whereas Gabriel Luna, as the Rev 9, he would compliment people, make jokes, if it was gonna get him closer to his target, He didn't just walk around and kill anybody in the movie, let's say like Robert Patrick did. He kind of, if there was somebody, he needed to kill, he would kill them to further his agenda. Whereas the Rev 9, he would talk his way out of a situation, or talk his way into a situation, so he didn't have to kill everybody to make himself noticed all that much. So I thought that was a good idea, but again, outside of just having him be in the movie, they really didn't do a whole lot with him. And he was just a mashup, really, of just the endoskeleton, from part one, essentially, the original endoskeleton Terminator, to the second one, the T-1000 with Robert Patrick. He was just a blend of the two. I like the idea from Genesis where they had the nanomachine Terminators. I thought that was really cool in that. That was like the only thing that I liked in that, but at least that was different, and you can bring in a lot of different cool stuff with making bigger and better machines. Honestly, the movie just felt like a series of action shots that was stitched together. It feels like a boardroom movie, as if somebody sat down and thought about what people liked about Terminator 1 and 2 and then kind of put the movie together with no regard about the story or the legacy of the series. If they wanted to have a different story, I could think of a few ways of doing that. They could have had the Legion, the new AI that supposedly comes from this modded future, and they could have it come about after they stopped Skynet. Let's say like Skynet wasn't the only AI in the world. They could have been, or Legion could have been, let's say, China's artificial intelligence, kind of like how Skynet is America's artificial intelligence. Maybe China developed one too, and it wasn't as good as, let's say, Skynet, but in its own way, it was just as deadly. Or it could have been let's say, a remnant of Skynet. Because if you kill John Connor, you're not just making Skynet not exist. You're just kind of destroying it. But let's say it could have compartmentalized itself, or a core process of Skynet could have been left, and it could have became into Legion and became a whole other thing that was even deadlier to mankind. They could have introduced newer robotic cybernetic variants that Skynet was, let's say, didn't want to use. So instead of using humans, let's say Skynet was like, oh, I want to take over humanity, but I want to give them a fighting chance. I want it to be fair. So let's make humanoid robots and make them fight against the humans and stuff. And it limited itself. Whereas Legion is like, no, I'm taking the cuffs off. It's, I'm just going to wipe them out en masse. I'm going to make nanotech swarms that just swarm the planet and just kill people. They could really do a lot of cool, things in that, but they didn't do a whole lot with that. Even what was her name? It's been a couple days since I've seen the movie. What was her name? I think it was Grace, the main, I guess, protagonist of the movie, the one who gets the cyber human chick that gets sent back in time in the movie. They could have done a whole lot more with her, whereas, like, let's say that whole cybernetic program, maybe that could be like, they could have brought in some artificial intelligences that were good. I mean, not all AIs are bad. Maybe there were some good ones fighting with the humans, and they helped develop this whole cyborg process, and or hell, they can even, like, downloaded themselves to be a part of her cybernetics, and they could talk to her and stuff during the mission. They could have did a whole lot with this new Terminator movie to kind of make things different, but I mean, honestly, I just don't think they could have did all that. I mean, they just don't know what they're doing. Instead of making something new, they keep opting to stir the pot and serve us the same old Terminator food, like we're just gonna eat it up like it's Terminator 2, and that's not the case, YouTube. It really isn't. I mean, I don't think it's like how other people are saying about how the Terminator franchise is. I don't think it's not popular. I don't think people are tired of the material. I just think they're tired of getting the same exact plot in every movie outside of Terminator Salvation. All the other Terminator movies have been the same plot. Go back, save John Connor, stop the other Terminator. This one, I guess they saw that and was like, okay, look, how can we change it? And maybe there was some social justice, feminism stuff going on in the background where they was like, okay, look, how do we change the movie since we don't want the exact same thing? And they was like, oh, well, let's make them female. So they made the new John Connor, and it was like, instead of it being John Connor, because we're going to kill him, let's make it about this other girl. And this one chick, she gets sent back in time. She's going to be a cyborg. And And I just don't think that they cared about it as much as they should have. I've read plenty of books about sci-fi, artificial intelligence, techno thrillers and the like, and what writers do are amazing. But I just don't think the writers in Hollywood, I don't know if there's like a writing guild or something, but it seems like the quality of writers has dipped, because this movie, I think, if other videos I watched were right, it had like 5 or 6 writers on the movie. So it seems like, and maybe that's why I kind of felt like it had that stitched together type feel to it. But usually when you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen like that, nothing gets done. What they should have did was, instead of having 5 different writers write a script and then you pick what you want, instead of doing that, they should have had a good writer come in and just write a script for the movie and just have key points that they want to hit on, and have him weave a narrative around those key points and then make that movie. This shouldn't, like, Terminator is a great franchise. It's not hard to fuck up. It's, well, I guess, by being not hard to fuck up, that's why they keep doing it. But it's very easy to set straight. All you have to do is have a good premise, like what they could have did with this movie. If you wanted to continue where T2 left off, you could have, this movie, instead of it being about, oh, let's send another robot back in time to kill somebody, you could have this be where Skynet or Legion or whatever you want to do, this could have been the movie where the AI took over, when the war kicked off and mankind started to fight against the machines, kind of like how the Matrix kind of did and stuff like that. I'm not saying do it exactly like that, but because the Matrix, the war was already over, but you could do like the war kicking off and about how the AI is usurping mankind's technology to wipe them out. And this could have been that movie, and you could have had Gabriel Lunar, the Rev 9, be like the commander of Skynet in modern times, or Legion in modern times, and then have him be the commander that they have to take out to stop the whole thing, or to try to semi-stop it, something like that, writing something really cool like that. But they ain't do none of that. I mean, it's kind of, they could have did a whole lot with the story and with the movie if they wanted to make things different or unique, but instead they just rehashed, a nostalgia trip of a movie that kind of sort of insults the very people who would be the first ones in line to see it. I'm not sure why they would do that, but maybe they thought they were going to bring in a bunch of new, viewers and stuff to watch Terminator movies. But it's like, no, man, you don't want to piss off your prime audience. That's like, Marvel or DC making comic book movies and then saying fuck you to all the comic book fans that are coming to watch the movie. It's like, no, that's your audience. You don't piss them off. You make a comic book movie for them and then try to put things in it to appeal to more than just them. That's what you do, but anyways, guys, that's just my thoughts on the new Terminator movie. My name is the Nanu, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Peace out.